Most people don't realize when their life becomes loud. It happens slowly. More messages. More obligations. More plans. More noise. More faces. More opinions. More expectations. Until one day, silence feels unfamiliar. And staying home feels strange. Almost suspicious. But what if the people who prefer staying home aren't falling behind? What if they're doing something most people forgot how to do? Protecting their mind. Because the truth is, the modern world is not built for thinking. It's built for consumption. And the people who choose solitude are quietly rebelling against that system. 100 years ago, staying home meant isolation. No internet. No streaming. No remote work. No global communication. If you stayed home, you were cut off. Today, staying home means access. To information. To money. To influence. To leverage. You can build a company from your bedroom. Learn any skill in the world from your laptop. Create media watched by millions without leaving your desk. The house is no longer a cage. It's a command center. And the people who understand that are playing a very different game. Psychologists notice something interesting over the last 2 decades. As technology removed the need for physical presence, a new personality pattern began emerging. People who deliberately reduced social exposure. People who avoided unnecessary outings. People who chose solitude even when social options were available. Not because they were lonely, but because they were selective. They weren't antisocial. They were anti-waste. Waste of time. Waste of energy. Waste of attention. They understood something most people don't. Attention is the most valuable asset you own. And the outside world is built to steal it. Every time you step outside, you enter a marketplace. Not just for products, but for influence. Advertisements. Status symbols. Social comparison. Trends. Tribes. Expectations. Your brain starts running background processes. Who's richer? Who's more attractive? Who's more successful? Who's ahead? Who's behind? The brain never stops calculating. And those calculations are exhausting. Home is the only environment where the brain stops negotiating. No social theater. No performance. No hierarchy. Just you. And your thoughts. People who love staying home usually have one thing in common. They think deeply. Their minds generate enough stimulation on their own. They don't need crowds to feel alive. They don't need constant interaction to feel validated. They don't need entertainment to feel occupied. Their brain is already busy. And because of that, they notice patterns others miss. They see connections others ignore. They build mental models while others chase dopamine. Psychologists call this high cognitive engagement. It's the trait found in strategists, architects, writers, programmers, investors, and founders. People who spend long hours alone with complex problems. The outside world feels like static. Home feels like clarity. Now here's the part society gets wrong. We associate solitude with weakness. We assume that if someone stays home, they must be afraid of life. But fear looks different. Fear seeks distraction. Fear runs from silence. Fear avoids self-reflection. The people who can sit alone for hours are not afraid. They are disciplined. They can confront their own thoughts. They can face uncertainty. They can tolerate boredom. And boredom is where real intelligence is built. The brain only creates when it is unstimulated. That's when ideas connect. That's when long-term planning emerges. That's when insight forms. Noise kills creativity. Chaos kills strategy. And the outside world is optimized for chaos. There's also a financial dimension most people ignore. Going out is expensive. Not just in money. In momentum. Every outing breaks your rhythm. Your sleep shifts. Your focus resets. Your discipline weakens. A few hours of socializing can cost you an entire day of productivity. And over years, those days compound. People who stay home more often build faster. They save more. They invest earlier. They think longer. Not because they're cheap. Because they understand compounding. Time, money, and skill all compound. Distraction destroys all three. Look at how real power is built. It's never loud. It's never public. It's never rushed. Empires are built in rooms, not on stages. Behind closed doors. On whiteboards. In notebooks. In silence. The public only sees the outcome. They never see the years of isolation that made it possible. The quiet planning. The long nights. The obsessive refinement. Staying home is not withdrawal. It's incubation. There's another layer people don't talk about. Social environments train conformity. Dress like this. Think like that. Want what they want. Chase what they chase. You absorb norms without realizing it. Your ambition gets resized. Your goals get diluted. Your standards get softened. Solitude does the opposite. It forces independent thought. You stop copying. You stop comparing. You stop chasing. You start designing. Your life becomes intentional. Psychologists call this internal locus of control. It means you believe your life is shaped by your decisions. Not by trends. Not by peer pressure. Not by social momentum. You decide. And that mindset changes everything. Your relationships become selective. Your work becomes strategic. Your goals become long-term. You stop reacting. You start building. Now zoom out. The world is shifting. Offices are shrinking. Cities are decentralizing. Remote work is permanent. Digital business is exploding. The future belongs to people who can operate alone. Without supervision. Without validation. Without external pressure. People who can sit in a room and produce. Staying home is no longer a lifestyle. It's a competitive advantage. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When you become comfortable alone, you become hard to manipulate. You don't need approval. You don't fear abandonment. You don't chase attention. You walk away easily. And that makes you powerful. Because neediness is visible. And independence commands respect. The outside world trains you to consume. Home trains you to create. The outside world makes you reactive. Home makes you deliberate. The outside world keeps you busy. Home makes you dangerous. So when someone calls you boring for staying in, understand what they're really saying. They're uncomfortable with silence. They're addicted to noise. They're afraid of being alone with their thoughts. And you are not. The question isn't why some people love staying home. The real question is, in a world engineered to distract, exhaust, and control attention, is solitude the last form of freedom? Or the first step toward dominance? The door closes, the world gets quiet, and the real work begins.